In Act 3, Scene 3 of Much Ado About Nothing, the play's setting shifts from inside Leonato's property to a deserted street in the middle of the night. Dogberry, the local constable, and his second-in-command Burgess arrive and give two watchmen, who are comically named Hugh Oatcake and George Seacole, their instructions. This gets confusing as Dogberry is constantly mixing up words. He tells the watch to comprehend all vagrom man, meaning apprehend all vagrant man, and make sure the local drunks get home to bed. Dogberry weirdly suggests if they encounter a thief, it's better to just let him show himself what he is and steal out of your company. Before he leaves, Dogberry reminds the men to keep a close eye on Leonato's house since the wedding is the next day. When Dogberry and Burgess leave, the members of the watch remain to hide in the shadows as Conrade and Borachio enter. Borachio begins to tell Conrade how he earned 1,000 ducats from Don John. Their conversation veers off into a tangent about fashion, but Borachio finally gets back on track and tells Conrade how he wooed Margaret in Hero's bedroom while Don John, Claudio, and Don Pedro watched from the orchard. He says Claudio and Don Pedro thought Margaret was Hero, but Don John knew the truth. Borachio overheard Claudio say he would shame Hero in the church the next morning and send her home again without a husband. Their plan is going off without a hitch. The watchmen jump out of the shadows and arrest Conrade and Borachio. Someone sends for Dogberry, who tells Don John's henchmen, "Masters, never speak, we charge you, let us obey," he means order, "you to go with us." Conrade and Borachio are then taken to jail. Like many of the characters in the play, Dogberry's use of language provides an insight into his slapstick comedy character. He thinks a lot of himself in his position of constable, and he tries to make his speech match the importance of his position. He uses multisyllabic words to make himself sound smarter, but he has no idea what they mean. The resulting malapropisms, humorous misuses of words in place of similar-sounding words, make him seem like a complete idiot, albeit endearing. Also, Conrade and Borachio are more significant than they appear. Their short digression about fashion is often cut from stage productions of Much Ado About Nothing, as it doesn't further the plot or provide any comedic relief. It's important, though, because it comments on how the nobility use clothing to mold their image. Conrad thinks dressing with more clothing than needed for comfort is unnecessary, and he accuses Borachio of falling prey to the trappings of nobility. He's essentially saying Borachio is starting to think himself more important than he really is. The same thing could be said of Claudio and Don Pedro, who dress and speak like nobles, but often act below their class, and maliciously so.